I am Allison French. Erica Stevenson was just speaking with you, and Charla Ridgway. Erica and Charla are the 6th grade teachers for pre-engineering, and I am a 7th, 8th grade teacher. Erica and I are the coordinators of the program, and so we are hoping tonight that we can answer all your questions and just get you excited about coming to Leestown to join us in pre-engineering. While we're sharing information, if you want to drop all your questions in the chat, we'll try to answer those as we go. And then at the end, we'll reserve some time to discuss and ask questions and speak with each other once we've been through all the info. So the first thing that I am going to show you is the Leestown Middle School homepage. And Erica's going to put the link to that in the chat. You got that? Thank you. I just want to make sure that everybody knows without a direct link how to get to our pre-engineering site. So it's embedded in Leestown site. If you hover over students, there's a pre-engineering link, and this is our site. So everything that you need to know is here, and you can always come back to this for information.
Mrs. French?
Yes.
There's also a shortcut back on that homepage.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go back to the original page. There's a simpler way to get there. Scroll down. And on the right-hand side under quick links, you see pre-engineering program.
Oh, yeah.
Not district quick links, the one for the school. It's
I had no idea that it was on there. So there's another.
I had also created a bit.ly. So there's a bit.ly LMS pre-eng that will take us straight to the pre-engineering website, but that one's case sensitive. So you have to make sure the LMS, P, and E are capital, but those are all there in the chat for you.
Okay. So I'm hoping that many of you have seen our promo video, but just in case everyone hasn't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and play that for you now.
Hello, I'm Joe Gibson, head principal at Leestown Middle School, and here at Leestown, our mission is that we are committed to engaging students and learning experiences that empower each with the tools for lifelong success. We also have a pre-engineering program here at Leestown. In the pre-engineering program, we take that mission statement. We also give students experiences in STEM-related fields and project-based learning.
What makes the pre-eng different than normal middle schools is that you are with the same students all 3 years. This is so important because you get to build such strong friendships to bring with you through the future. Not only do you get these amazing friendships, but because of the small setting, you get the help and attention that you need from your teachers. Because of the amazing pre-eng teachers, I am ready to face whatever obstacle that high school has to bring.
As a student in the pre-engineering program, the content that you are taught really ensures that you have a strong foundation of knowledge to build upon as subjects become more advanced, which really prepares you for high school. I'm currently in the pre-engineering and SCAPA programs at Lafayette, thanks to Leestown's academic and artistic programs.
What makes Leestown special is that it is a fun and a positive environment, and pre-engineering makes it better because of the STEM projects and the fun field trips that we have.
That's funny.
Do you think you both have?
Yeah, I do.
So hopefully that gave you kind of a really good glimpse into our program. I just want to reiterate that our mission here at Leestown Middle School is to engage students in learning experiences that empower them with the tools for lifelong success. You heard Mr. Gibson say that in the video. And then we try to take that mission and just build on it in pre-engineering. And so we're focusing a lot on STEM careers and PBL. Does anybody have any questions so far before we get into all of the nuts and bolts of the program?
Of course he wants to join. New
All right. So
Yes, we have a question, please.
okay.
Yes, I want to ask because it's 3 years now. I want my son to be in pre-engineering classes, but I don't know how to do. But now he is in 7th grade. I don't know if it's possible to him to join the 7th grade or 8th grade like for next year, because now he is in 7th grade.
Okay. When we're done with all of the information, we can talk to you about 7th and 8th grade applications. Okay. If you can stick around to the end, is that all right?
Okay.
Okay. So now Erica Stevenson is going to just kind of give you some highlights of the program and talk about what a 6th grade schedule looks like.
See.
All right. So some cool highlights about our program is we focus on 21st century skills. So we're getting students using technology, how they would use it in the real world. And we make sure they know how to use technology for specific purposes and not just writing on a Google Doc. We do project-based learning and creative problem solving. So we have units that use projects to learn about content, and there's a product at the end of their learning. They have to creatively problem solve to do these projects, and we try to incorporate all of the different subject areas in our projects. Every project doesn't necessarily have every subject area involved, but we try to have a couple of different things that kind of weave together as we teach. In our core instruction, at Leestown, most students have an A-Day, B-Day writing lab and math lab, but our pre-engineering students have a STEM class that is in the core instruction. All pre-engineering students take digital art and design, coding and robotics, and agri-science. So they have those in their elective block, which means it's only 1/4 of their classes, of their schedule. But those 1/4 of their classes, it changes, but every student in our pre-engineering program gets to take those courses. We also have an accelerated content. So every class the students take is more accelerated than their grade level peers. So what you can see here is an idea of the different schedules. So every student has these 5 core classes that you can see on the far left. Every student takes math, social studies, science, English language arts, and like I said, they have that specific STEM class that they take. For math, in 6th grade, they take advanced 7th grade math, which is to prepare them to take Algebra 1 as a 7th grade student, and then to take geometry as an 8th grade student. And the algebra and geometry classes, if the student earns an A or a B, the student gets high school credit for those courses. We also offer as 8th graders English 1, which is freshman English, and students who earn an A or B in that class, they can also receive high school credit for that before they ever get to high school. So we're getting them on track to take AP courses while they're in high school. Students have 9-week exploratory classes. Some of those cycle through every 9 weeks. A few of them, like our music courses, are year long, but every student has 2 exploratory classes every quarter, which means that they could have a total of 8 exploratory classes. And those exploratory classes for our pre-engineering students, like I said, they all get digital art and design, and they get a coding and robotics class. And a lot of them will also get that agri-science class too. in case they're interested in the Locust Trace program. So what you'll see here below the exploratory classes is just the different types of classes that students can take. Most of these are available to all students at Leestown, but some of those, like the digital art, are only available to our pre-engineering students.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yeah.
There was a question about how, if they're taking 7th grade advanced math, how you do the transition from 5th grade math.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm doing that right now. So what we do, this year we take a test called Galileo, and it showed me what 6th grade standards our students don't know yet. It gave me a good reading on what information do they already have those background skills on, and what things do they not know at all yet. And typically there are a couple of different sections of 6th grade math that my students have never seen, like equations or finding the area of a triangle. And so there's a handful of 6th grade topics that I always hit because I know they don't see it in 5th grade at all. And I make sure that those students are getting that information, and we build upon that to do the 7th grade. So a lot of times I can't teach the 7th grade concept unless I teach the 6th grade concept before it. So I build in that 6th grade skill so that I can teach the 7th and 8th grade content to the 6th graders. Another thing that we do is we have summer homework for our students. Because the students in 6th grade are going to be one whole grade level ahead than their peers, they do the 6th grade Khan Academy over the summer. So we ask that the students get to 40% in Khan Academy of their 6th grade course, so that they have exposure to what the 6th grade content is. When they go into 7th grade, they're taking 9th grade math, but they're still going to take that 7th grade state testing. So when they move to 7th grade, they work on the 7th grade Khan Academy so that they're seeing things that will be on state testing. They're building up that background knowledge to make sure that they have what they need to know to be successful in that higher level math, and also on their state testing. And the same thing happens when they go into 8th grade. In 8th grade, they do the 8th grade Khan Academy course kind of on their own independently, because most of those concepts they've already seen, but they're still taking the 8th grade state test, and they're in 10th grade math at that point. So we want to make sure that they're not losing things that they wouldn't have seen, but we're giving them some structure so that they can get that stuff kind of plugged in at each level. I want to talk a little bit about that sample 6th grade schedule. So on a regular day, students would have, I teach math, science, and STEM. So on a regular day, the students would be with me for their first 3 classes. I would teach them math and science and STEM, 3 classes up right back to back together. And then they would go to their elective courses. Maybe they take digital art and design. Then they have their band class. And then in the afternoon, they would see Mrs. Ridgway for their language arts and social studies class. So in 6th grade, they only have 2 teachers. And what we do is on an A-day, B-day schedule, we actually switch who we see in the mornings and the afternoons. So as a 6th grader in any quarter, they only have 4 teachers, 2 teachers for their core classes and 2 different elective teachers. So that's a nice transition into middle school. They have those 2 teachers teaching multiple subjects. I saw some questions about a lot of our GTAP kids are ready for the advanced instruction. That's true. A lot of them, they haven't fully taken 6th grade math, but those GTAP teachers do build in some of that 6th grade content. So they do have more exposure to the 6th grade content than a student who's just coming from a regular 5th grade class. So they do kind of have it a little bit of an advantage, but I see most of my students really around the same level. They do need some 6th grade content built in. They can't always completely surpass the 6th grade level of things.
And I would add that the math progression is the same in the GTAP program at the middle school level. So they would take the exact same 3 courses for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And they if the school has opted to, any middle school that's opted to do the high school credit, they would get the high school credit as well. And I also wanted to point out, we also have French and Spanish year-long classes in 7th and 8th grade, and students can earn high school credit for those. So if you're coming from an elementary school that emphasizes language, then you might be able to even bump into year long as a sixth grader if you have test scores that show you're prepared for that. So basically, we just want to offer as many different opportunities to students as we can for them to get advanced instruction in both core and exploratory classes.
I see one more question. What if they've seen advanced content? Do we keep those students ahead, or do we wait till the rest of the class catches up? I still tend to move at the same pace and build up for my kids who aren't quite there yet. So I can give those kids who've already seen the advanced content something more challenging, but I don't let them move on. It's a very, very rare case that a sixth grade student is ready for Algebra 1, like super rare. We do have one student right now who is last year as a seventh grader, they took algebra and geometry, and now the student is taking Algebra 2 as an eighth grader. I'm like, what grade is it? As an eighth grader, but it's very, very rare that a student is ready to advance to the next level to do Algebra 1 as a sixth grader. If there was a special circumstance where that needed to happen, I'm sure we could arrange it, but really the most of the students still need the same skills. I think Allison was going to talk about what the 7th and 8th grade schedule is like, but I don't know if there's anything else specific. Yeah, maybe that 5-person team you can talk about.
Yeah, if you are interested to join as a 7th or 8th grader, or you 6th graders will be 7th and 8th graders eventually, we actually have a team of 5 core teachers. So if you look on the far left, we have a math teacher who teaches the algebra and geometry and Algebra 2 in that case this year. The social studies, we have a single teacher that teaches that for all 7th and 8th graders, one science teacher for 7th and 8th graders, one language arts teacher for 7th and 8th graders, and then I am the STEM teacher for the 7th and 8th graders. And so for 7th and 8th grade, they rotate through their core classes and they have the same teachers for 2 years. We get to, I can't say the word, Erica. We get to stay with them.
Travel with them.
Yes, travel with them. And so that's really helpful, especially in math, where they're doing all of that advanced content, and our math teacher is able to just have them for 2 straight years and just move them along that content to make sure that that they're showing mastery. The high school credit this year is a new thing, so we are kind of still, the district is still working that out logistically, but it is important to note that those classes are following a high school curriculum map. So when those students take the high school class, it is a high school class. It is supposed to mimic the high school class. Therefore, those classes have homework. We typically have homework in 7th grade almost nightly for math, and in 8th grade for math and the English 1. So your algebra, geometry, and English 1 classes do have homework because they are high school. That's just something to consider. Our schedule, if you look over to the right, you can see that the 7th and 8th grade schedules are pretty similar. They all have the 5 core classes and then 2 class periods that are the exploratory classes. The 7th grade schedule here is an example of if you did not take any year-long classes, you would have coding and digital art, just like Ms. Stevenson said. And then there are some other options for you. You can take agri-science and the language classes as quarter classes in 7th and 8th grade if you are not interested in earning high school credit. And those have benefits because then you get to explore many things and maybe open options for high school programs and academies. But if you are, singularly interested in agri-science, you would then take the year-long course, and we have a greenhouse on our campus. We're the only school, I think, one of 2 middle schools in the state that have a greenhouse. And so we have Miss Lane who works with UK, and they go to the castle, the castle on Versailles Road. They go there during the summer and they do all kinds of gardening, vegetable gardening.
It's an internship, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is it's a very prestigious opportunity and can get you what you need to know to get into Locust Trace, which is one of the special programs. And I've already kind of talked about the languages. If you had a year-long language class, you can see there that would be one of your periods, and then your other class period would rotate through coding and digital art. The only circumstance that you would not have coding and digital art as an 8th grader is if you chose to take 2 year-long courses because you wanted those high school credits, which is an option.
Yeah, because they will have seen the coding and digital art and design in 6th and 7th grade. So if they're like, I'm really interested in French 1 and in going to Locust Trace, so I'm going to take that year-long agri-science class. So that is an option where they're not required to take digital art and coding, but we do put all of our students who want that, they get into that as an 8th grader.
And they're really great classes. They help teach skills and technology apps in a different setting that we can then use in our classes for more project-based learning as well. If there's no, I guess we're going to move on, and Miss Ridgway is going to just show you what this student showcase is, or just tell you about some of the different projects that we do.
Hi, everybody. So as they mentioned earlier, we do have our students do a lot of types of technology projects that you would see in use in the real world. And so some examples of some of the ones we use are infographics, which are used pretty much daily on the internet. You see it on news sites, you see it in all sorts of places. We have students making podcasts, infographics, like I said, stop motion films where they're actually filming short movies. Some students are using Minecraft for different things, for either like builds of some sort or to do a tour. We've used Google Tour Builder to do like a map that's like digitized for traveling somewhere on Earth and showing where different monuments were or artifacts were. Digital posters, public service announcements. Ms. French had them last year when she did ELA. She did book snaps where they did a little like video about a book that they read. So there's just a variety of different types of technology projects that we embed into the curriculum so that kids can learn to use it, you know, efficiently, to put out professional looking projects and products. And so you're welcome to go and look through this part of the site, the pre-engineering site, where it has some of those student samples so that your kids can see some of the things that we might possibly do. So, and Ms. Stevenson put a link there to the website again. You would go under the student section and it will say the pre-engineering student showcase. And then you click on that and it takes you into that showcase section and you can see what each of the content areas do. There's a tab for STEM, for language arts, social studies, science, and I believe those were the core contents that we have that in. So thank you.
So now Ms. Stevenson's going to tell you a little bit about transportation. Transportation is always a big issue. Right now, obviously, transportation is a big issue.
Yeah, for sure. So Leestown's pre-engineering program, although it's a special program, does not have transportation for students who are not in area for Leestown Middle School. So any student who lives within the Leestown Middle School district can obviously ride the buses to Leestown Middle School. But when we take students that go to Veterans Park, who should be going to, I guess, Southern or Tates Creek, I'm not really sure, they don't have a Fayette County bus that will come to their neighborhood to pick them up. And this has been an issue in the past, but we do have lots of families that, you know, you have a group of kids from your elementary school and you know you live in the same sort of area, and we have lots of families that carpool. So something that we've been trying to do is help connect our families to build a community amongst our parents, but also support parents who need help with transportation for their kids. So I'm working now with some families trying to create a way to plug people in and get more carpools going. I'm also working with trying to communicate with the special programs directors and see, is it possible to get a bus for our school? But there's not even buses to bring every kid to their regular school right now. So this year, I don't think that that's going to happen. Our school does have a before school. So there is a before school YMCA program. So you do have to pay for that. But if you have, you can drop the students off early in the morning, and they have some kind of quiet space in the cafeteria where they can be working on their schoolwork just in the time where you have to go to work, so you have to drop them off. So there is an opportunity for them, but we do not have an after school program. So we do need students to be picked up at regular dismissal time at 3:55. Also working on trying to make sure if that's something that more of our families need, that we can get that after school YMCA option as well.
Okay. And now what you've been waiting for, the application process. Everything is right here on the site. It's kind of overwhelming when you go to FCPS special programs page. And so I've tried to put it all here in 3 easy steps for you with all of the links. The most important thing that you have to know is that you do have to apply at Fayette County's site. When you get to this site, you must log in order to apply. And if you haven't created an account, you have to do that first. And so, you know, I am not a parent of someone, so I don't really have an account here, but you have to make an account and then log in. When you click on begin application, it goes through all of the dates, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. The other thing that's here is you can view all of the programs. So if you are a 5th grader right now, you have lots of options. You don't just have pre-engineering. And so if you look through this list and you find something else that you need to, that you think you might want, you know, might be interested in, I would reach out to that school. Just so you know, they are in order from elementary, youngest elementary program all the way down to high school. So everything is in here. That application window is open and it closes October 7th. It's really, really important that you submit your application by October 7th, because a late application is likely going to go on a wait list for us automatically. And we have so many applicants that it's probably not going to be something that we are going to be able to accept. The district is very hard and fast about their dates at this time. So October 7th is something that you're going to want to put on your calendar and pay close attention to. Once you've submitted that official application for the specialized academic program, you're going to go to step 2, and you're going to fill out, or you're going to get the link to this form and have your teachers fill them out. These are not due till October 22nd. We're giving you a couple weeks to get those turned in. Here's the form. You just share it with your teachers, whichever ones you would like to write a recommendation for you, and then we will automatically get the results of that form. Is there anything else we need to say about the recommendation form, Erica?
Their elementary school teachers teach all subjects, but if you can have someone, since we're a STEM program, if it could be someone who has taught the student math, or I mean, really any subject, I guess, but we do have that advanced math program. So someone who could speak to the students' like math abilities or their interest in STEM fields, in engineering, in that kind of like realm of things, to make sure that there's a person who knows that the student's interest is in engineering or STEM.
So then step 3 has to do with test scores. So any Fayette County Public Schools student, any current student, is not going to have to submit any test scores to us. We can pull those because your student goes to Fayette County School. And so, of course, Ms. Stevenson is going to be looking at map data and Galileo now that everyone in the district is using that. And so those will be really important. If you are not enrolled in a Fayette County public school, for instance, maybe you go to a different county, different district, public district, or you go to a private school, you would need to submit those standardized test scores by October 29th, unless, of course, they're not back from your school yet, in which case you can just email Ms. Stevenson and let her know. I know that private schools maybe don't test the same time that we do. but her email is right here. And so you're going to want to send those directly to her if you are not a Fayette County Public School student.
Yeah, and if you can get at least their first testing of 5th grade, that's really helpful, just where last year was kind of crazy. And then we didn't have any information for K-Prep 5th grade or 4th grade, I guess. So just if it's possible for you to give me their first 5th grade testing scores, that's super helpful, because it's going to be more accurate view of like where they're at right now. And obviously pandemic, like I understand. So we will be considering that in our looking at the test scores.
Any other questions about the application process?
I have a question, and I know I've already been communicating with Ms. Stevenson, but just if we have applied and there's things that you don't have by certain due dates, will you reach out, or it's just you have to have it and know the date, type things?
So step number 1, all of that goes to the district, and we don't actually even get access to it until probably December.
Yeah,
so we won't know if the Fayette County application is not completed. We will not know that. You would have to reach out to that Fayette County district department in order to access that. However, the recommendation forms, and that is something that we do have complete control over. So I think there is a receipt. Let me open it and see if there's a receipt. I can go in and make sure that it will send you like a receipt that we got it, so that you know that we have it. But you're more than welcome to contact us at any time with any questions. We want to have an open door. It's just we have to adhere to what the district has right now, and hopefully that process will get a little more easier and transparent by next year.
Okay, thank you.
So I would like to address.
Pause. Along with that, we can look at the list, like once we get the information from Fayette County about who's applied to our program. If I don't have some information, especially for those that are applying from outside of FCPS, we'll try to contact you and get that information, as long as you've turned in the application by the due date and it's not a late application. If we still have information we need, we can communicate that, but we're not changing this website. So we have this website, the information is here. If you ever need to come back to refer back to these dates, it's all going to be right here and stay here until something changes.
So I'm going to answer a couple questions that are in the chat from the bottom up. The first question is about Chromebooks. Now that the district is fully one-to-one, pre-engineering students do not pay any fee or purchase their Chromebooks. The district has a policy now, when you leave 5th grade, you leave your Chromebook at your elementary school. When you start 6th grade at the middle school, you are given a new Chromebook and you use it for 3 years, and then you leave it at your middle school in 8th grade. And when you go to your high school, you get a new Chromebook that you use for your 4 years of high school. We do have 60 students currently in each class. So 60 5th graders, current 5th graders, will be accepted into next year's 6th grade class. Typically,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I had somebody send me a private comment wanting to know where the recording would be placed.
I'm going to put that on the website, and I'm hoping also that we will be able to put that on the front page of our Leestown site. I don't have a lot of control over that, but it will be on the Pre-Eng website
by that homepage
tomorrow. Yes, on that homepage tomorrow. I forgot. Oh yeah, so we have 30 spots. Of the 60 are Leestown students, and then like 30 can be out of district.
How many students typically apply? Hundreds, a couple hundred?
250 to 300 is usually how many apply. Yeah, it's a lot. There was one more question I needed to address. Okay, so does the program feed into a specific high school program? So what basically happens is our pre-engineering program has 60 students. So say there's 60 students in 8th grade. 8th graders across the whole district can apply for Lafayette's pre-engineering program.
I pulled up and I saw you sitting over here and I thought, I wonder if she's gonna go in.
I am. I'm on Zoom. Yeah. I mean, no, they can't hear you.
Yeah, they can.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to start over. This is an important question. So Lafayette, pre-engineering at Lafayette High School, they have 60 students that enter into their freshman class each year. And 30 of those spots are earmarked for pre-engineering kids at Leestown. So 30 students from Leestown. So not every student that comes to Leestown for pre-engineering will get into Lafayette pre-engineering. That's just the way that it has been set up in the past. So it is not a guaranteed entrance into Lafayette. There are kids from other middle schools who also get into Lafayette's pre-engineering program. And what I really want to emphasize is that we are preparing students to go to any program in the district. So we have students that go to Dunbar for MSTC. We have students that go to STEAM Academy, students that go to the IB program at Tate's Creek, to the IT program at Bryan Station. We have kids go to Station Arts. We have kids go to SCAPA.
A lot of Douglas.
I know I'm probably missing one. Something that we just kind of started promoting in our school is the technical schools have amazing programs where you can actually go to the school part-time. So you could be in a program or go to Bryan Station or go to Dunbar, and then you could also be bussed over and take schools and learn a trade or get a certification, which is amazing. It's an amazing opportunity our district offers.
Same thing with Locust Trace. We've got a handful of kids that are starting to go to Locust Trace because they're getting that agri-science education here, and we've fed quite a few over to that school too. And they can do Locust Trace and other programs too. Like you could technically do pre-engineering at Lafayette and also go to Locust Trace, or you could do STEAM Academy and also go to Locust Trace. Same thing with the technical schools. So that they don't just get one thing, they could do multiple.
And so right now, as you 5th graders and 5th grade parents are looking at middle school options, we are actually going through the process with our 8th graders, and we do a presentation for them and we tell them about every 8th grade program so they can apply to as many as they're interested in so that they can make a sound decision later in the year. I would encourage you to apply to as many programs as you can so that you have opportunities, because who knows what you're going to be thinking in January when all of those offers come out. And then your student may get multiple offers. Maybe they're already in the GTAP program, but they also have the option go to pre-eng, and they come and they tour both schools. Then they can make a decision that's more informed. There's also another question about if you apply in 6th grade and you're accepted to the program, but you do not accept and come into our program, we will have your application. And if you wanted to come in 7th grade, you would have to reapply, and we would put you on the list, and then there would have to be an opening. So there would have to be a student that say moved, or maybe a student came into pre-eng in 6th grade, but then they qualified for GTAP, and then they decided they were going to go to Winburn or Tate's Creek for that program, and then a spot opened up here. So it's all about the spots opening, and that's why we have the wait list, because we have so many applicants.
I would like to say we probably have anywhere from like 4 to 7 openings, like when they go to 7th grade, and then when they go into 8th grade. We do have a handful of kids that move, or they end up going other places, or things just happen. So there are in each school year typically spots available if you didn't accept it right away and wanted to get in with 7th grade.
And you do not have to reapply each year. Someone asked, once you are accepted in 6th grade, you're accepted for your 3 years at Leestown unless you choose to leave. That's the only way or unless you decide that you don't enjoy the program and you wanted to if you were a Leestown student you would not be forced to stay in the program. If you did not like it, you could just switch to a different team. If you were not a Leestown student and you did not like pre-engineering, you would have to go back to your home school or whatever other program you had been accepted into. So the dates that you will find out are January 12th and 13th. The middle school, all middle school programs, those mailings will go out January 12th through the 13th. I think they do elementary. Is it elementary first, then middle, then high? It's all within a week and a half.
I think so.
All that time in January.
Can I ask a question about the agri-science portion?
Yeah.
I know agri-science, you know, it encompasses a lot of things. And I know we just kept talking about kind of like growing and greenhouse and different things, but what other parts of agri-science do they touch? Do they touch food science? Do they touch anything within chemistry within agri-science? What is all in that?
You know, I wish Miss Lane were here to tell you. I honestly do not know all of the things that they do in agri-science, but we can find that out for you. Or if you want to send me an email, I can get you in contact with Miss Lane, or Miss Myers is her name. I'm sorry, Miss Myers. And she can explain all of it to you. We do have some students who are in it currently too, who could tell you about that class as well. I'm sorry that I don't know. It's kind of this is the first year that it's a year-long class.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions they want to talk about or anything that they would like to discuss?
If I can ask a question, I was trying to type it, but I can't type it eloquently, so it's easier to ask it. My older son was accepted to Lafayette Pre-Engineering, and I know their application process looked at him like holistically. So they did look at grades, but they also just looked at why he wanted to be there and who he was. And so it wasn't all just based on the merit of his grades. What is the application process for you all, and how is it weighted?
I'm sorry, there was some.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm sorry. There was something that happened.
Did I get all of my question asked?
You did. You did.
Okay.
I heard it. So we also don't just choose based on test scores. I hate to keep comparing to GTAP, but it is a similar program, and we don't have as restrictive test score requirements as that program does. So, but we are looking for students to be prepared for the math, because they do end up taking 9th and 10th grade math in middle school. So that is one primary requirement. Other than that, our main concern is that they really like project-based learning. And I'm glad that you asked the question, because I want everyone to know that that is something that if students are not interested in doing projects that require research and building and creative and critical thinking, that this may not be the best option for them, because that is what we do in most of our classes. You know, I know Ms. Stevenson talked specifically about not just teaching technology in isolation. We teach those technology skills as part of our curriculum. So they might learn to use 10 or 15 different apps in a year, but it's not just a random, hey, let's get on Adobe Spark and make an Adobe Spark. It is, let's get on and do a book trailer for the book that we're reading in ELA, or that we're reading in social studies or whatnot. So things like that. Did that help answer the question?
Absolutely, thank you.
There's a question in the chat about after school programs. With that, those kind of change from year to year based on who the sponsor is and when they're having their clubs. I know last year we didn't have, if we had clubs, they were virtual. There's different clubs like Kappa Club. I don't know, Allison, can you go to this the Leestown website for me?
Yes.
I put the link to the activity and clubs page earlier in the chat.
Last time I looked, it was a little bit outdated. I think it said 2019. Oh, yeah, it still says 2019.
Sorry, go ahead.
So we do still have a lot of clubs, and this obviously hasn't been updated. So we're working on, we're working with our school to make sure that this gets updated with accurate information for the current school year. But we will have like math counts. We will have Kappa Club. We do have, I've done Girls Who Code in the past. I'd like to keep that going.
There's a drama club that started.
Drama club, there's art club. Art club is very popular. Battle of the Books. We have archery. We have soccer. Not all of them are after school though. So the sponsor kind of chooses whether it's before or after school. I see Karen Grace asked the question, is it still required for them to be in a club or a sport? We've actually kind of eliminated that requirement. The point of that years ago was to make sure our pre-engineering students were a part of the culture of the school. And really they are. And they do love to be a part of different clubs. We're not requiring that and saying you absolutely have to, but we do want our students to be a part of everything that goes on at Leestown. And then yes, if you don't have any questions, we're just answering questions now. So if you have no questions, you're definitely free to go, and we'll get this recording posted on our website if you need to come back to it.
Did you want me to share the social media info?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
let me go back and I'll, just in case you want to follow our accounts, here they are.
So we do have accounts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our Facebook page is Pre-Engineering at Leestown Middle School. The Twitter account is at LMS Pre-Eng, and then Instagram is LMS Pre-Engineering. And we post updates of things that students are doing. We take pictures of activities and projects that kids are doing in class or after school events that they're involved in. If we have field trips, things like that. So we post that there so that you can keep up with all the great stuff going on in our program. So check us out.
So I just want to go back and make sure that everyone knows that at this time, we haven't had clubs start meeting just because of all of the contact tracing and COVID protocols and all of that stuff. But in a typical year, we constantly have things going on in our building and lots of opportunities for kids. So same thing about the tours. I know that Ms. Stevenson just put in the chat, we don't know about tours yet, but we're hoping that once next semester happens and offers have been made, I mean, that we can start those again. I don't think we have academic team happening this year, but typically we do participate because the Governor's Cup is the 6th grade portion, right? So we've had it in the past. I just don't know what's going on. Like I said, we haven't had, no one has met, no club has met this year.
Nobody.
Not yet, no.
And I'm not sure when math team starts either.
Math counts.
We have to decide if we're going to do it.
There were some staff that moved around into different positions, and so who's going to sponsor what is still kind of up in the air on a couple of things. So
we normally have a big club kickoff right at the beginning of September, but we just haven't done that yet. There's a question about math, Erica. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I missed it.
It says 7th grade algebra 1 or advanced algebra 1, 8th grade geometry or advanced geometry. I know they all say advanced in Infinite Campus.
Yeah, it does all say advanced. So in 6th grade, you take advanced 7th grade math. And then in 7th grade, you take advanced algebra 1. And then in 8th grade, you take advanced geometry. And the 7th and 8th grade courses are high school credit. Sorry, my computer came on.
Ms. French, I'm not seeing any other questions pop up.
Okay. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to email us. Here's all of our information right here, and there's Mr. Gibson's email in case you wanted to contact him. He is our head principal. So if there's no more questions, then we will end the meeting, and I will post the recording in the morning. Otherwise, if you have anything else, you're more than welcome to ask, and everybody else can leave.
Yeah.
Thank you
it
so
is-
much
Was the
for
parent
coming.
that asked about seventh grade? Also, there was a question in the chat about if there's 60 kids in one room. No, they're 2 classes of 30.
Or sometimes there's 3 classes, depending on
Sometimes 3, depending
additional
on the
section.
grade.
Yeah, no fee to apply. We do charge a fee once they're in each year, just so that we can go on cool field trips and buy cool stuff for them to use.
Thank you all for coming.
Wait, Ken, what about 7th grade?
Oh, okay. So you can apply right now. So did you say that your student is currently in 7th grade?
Yes.
Okay. So you can apply for your student to join, and then that would happen next year as an 8th grader. But I just want to make sure that he's prepared for the math. So he would need to already be taking algebra. Isn't that right, Erica?
Yeah, algebra.
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, if they're already in algebra, they could apply for 8th grade. I would, I don't know anything about what the application actually like looks like, but if there's a place where you can like indicate that they already are in that, I would do a teacher recommendation. You would need to have your math teacher do one of your teacher recommendations to make sure we're still aware that they've taken that class.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me, about the application that you can, make sure that you can join the pre-engineering class. Can you put it on here so we can fill it?
Yeah, I think
I put a link in earlier in the chat. Let me see if I can find it.
I don't see it.
yeah. Let me grab it. I'll do it. I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And remember, you have to create the account first before
Yeah.
you can start the application.
I'm gonna go ahead and, whoops.
The bottom now.
I was just gonna find the contact information and put that site in here as well. Here's the whole site that has all of the like V Prior's contact information. So if you have any issues with the application, this is the site, and V Prior is the one that you can talk to about that, because we have Leestown has no control. No school has any control over this actual application. They all have to go through the central office.
Any other questions?
If it, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just trying to answer. No. Robin, you said if they get through a grade or 2 and then decide to leave their program, if they get through 6th and 7th grade, they have, and they get an A or B in their math class, they have high school credit. They can go to other middle schools within Fayette County, and every middle school in Fayette County also has algebra. Most of them have also a geometry teacher. So if it's something that if they just don't quite fit, it's not a right fit, and they need to go to their home school or they transfer out of it, I don't think their time is wasted at all. They're getting that opportunity to learn things, and they may not be. Yeah, no. The school will know that what classes they have taken when they transfer schools, if they end up transferring schools, so they would know what classes they had taken and make sure that they're not put into something that they've already done. Yes, you're welcome.
Okay. Well, I think that covers everything. just email us if you have any other questions, and hopefully we will see applications from you soon.